Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Oh, good day. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay, Big E. Day, Jay, how are you?
I'm just fine, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, doing all right. E, you doing all right?
Just well.
Yes.
Very good.
I got stuck behind a Kegel hot dog truck on my way here today, and you know my rule. Gotta do Kegels until I pass a Kegel sign. And I got stuck behind my taint sore, is my point.
Seriously?
Yeah. Got
Wait.
up to about 350.
Wait, if you pass a Kegel truck, you do Kegels
If
until...
I pass a Kegel hot dog sign, a billboard,
Yeah.
I do Kegels until I pass. Well, now I'm stuck behind a
Oh,
truck.
until you pass the billboard. Okay, I got you.
Now I'm stuck behind a truck, just hammering away at these things.
Just Kegeling your ass off.
My taint sore.
How many do you think you got in?
I got up to 350. Now,
No, you did not.
I'm trying to keep up with my 500 a day. I've been falling behind, admittedly.
Yeah.
That forced me to do 350 right off the bat. I
Wow.
usually do them in sets, you know?
I would black out at the wheel if I tried to do 350 Kegels. Doing
5, 6, 7.
Have you noticed any improvement in distance, length,
Prostate health?
prostate health in general? Yeah. Have you noticed any improvement at all?
No.
I mean, even if you gained a quarter inch in distance, like it would be impressed. I would be impressed. with
Quarter inch would be an incredible amount of. Wouldn't that be?
We're
Shooting-
talking about distance, shooting distance.
I know, shooting sperm. Quarter
You think
inch.
a quarter inch would be that remarkable?
Yeah, I think
For
so.
as little as you've
Really?
done, I think an extra quarter inch would be.
Well, maybe not a quarter inch.
commendable.
Maybe not. Maybe
A quarter inch would be nothing.
So
Like,
what-
there's probably a deviation. What do you think the deviation is in loads?
Well, I mean, obviously it depends. Are we talking about the first load in a while? Are we
Right, you're talking
about?
about like a week? Or
Are we
Or
talking
4 or
about-
5 times a day?
Yeah,
4 or 5
well,
times.
when you get it 4 or 5 times
Yeah,
a day,
it's just
sometimes you're on a
dripping
little-
out at the end, right?
Okay, let's say, so if we were to measure, like you go a week without, no closet at all for a week.
Yeah.
And then you open up, let's say your average distance is 10.5. I mean, if your back's against the wall and you're probably, let's just,
Oh, my God.
for just a discussion point, let's say you're 10.5. And all of a sudden you wouldn't be satisfied with 10.5 or something?
No, I don't. It needs to be more remarkable than that. I mean, if I'm going to put myself through this exercise,
Yeah.
put my taint through this,
See, if I'm back against the wall and I've abstained
abstain.
for a week, I'm probably looking at, I mean, if I'm really,
Are you getting the hip action into it? Like, are you throwing?
no,
with
this is dead,
dead nuts.
yeah, this is dead nuts. Just don't move your hips and you know, it'd be hard to have E hold your hips to the wall, but
I gotta be. What?
because he'd have to be underneath. You wouldn't want, otherwise you just continually splat him in the face, and we'd never get a good reading. But if he bent down, I would demand that he hold your hips there so you're not, because I don't want it. That's false.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got, oh, great, you're a great thruster, and so you're gaining an extra foot on
Yeah,
everybody.
it's like measuring from below the panniers. You just can't.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that, you
What
know?
is the scenario where you are counting the distance of your?
Well,
That
how
was
else
the
are we
whole
gonna
thing.
measure?
That was the whole thing. That's what Emily Morse said.
Yeah.
I think it's good for prostate health and it increases distance. And so,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
If I was to
shoot
do
a
it-
hole in this thing.
I would probably get, how many inches is this?
I mean, are you trying to? Go,
Let me see. About half of.
Half
I mean,
of
are you
this-
really trying to go from like mid back to make it to head? I mean, what's the goal here?
Yeah.
I mean,
How did we get here? What are we?
Oh, the Kegel truck.
Yeah.
Kegel truck.
Well, congratulations. 350. Wow.
I
That's a
know.
lot. That's impressive. Congratulations. Congratulations. Anyway, we should get to the show. A lot to get to. I wanted to call back the lady we talked to last Friday.
What's her name? Anastasia, the German.
Yeah,
Or Alicia.
Annalise.
Annalise.
Is it Annalise who had the chick with the daughter with Down syndrome who worked at McDonald's?
French fry.
Yeah, but we learned through our course of discussion with her that at 90 years old in German, we quickly did the math after we talked to her, and we were like, wow, she lived through some shit.
She did.
So I wanted to call her back. Now, that's a very sensitive subject, so we'll have to ease our way into that. Maybe we'll do that a little bit later.
Ease our way in. Let's see how that goes. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll do our best. But, yeah, it's not very often you get someone from Nazi Germany on the phone.
Yeah, I was totally with it, too. I mean,
Yeah.
she was very, she could hear us well. She understood.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll call her in a little bit here. Of course, Nazi Germany, not the only place where monsters are from. As we learned yesterday about this Minnesota guy that has finally confessed to abducting and killing an 11-year-old Jacob Wetterling. People will remember that story from 27 years ago. It's amazing that someone could get away with it for that long. But
was that big time in the news and stuff?
Yeah.
Was it? I don't
Yeah.
remember that one at all.
Danny Heinrich made the decision, the admission, and pled guilty to federal child porn charge that could put him in jail for decades. Asked whether he abducted and sexually assaulted and murdered Jacob, he was like, "Yes, I did." And then, and then he gave details in court to the family. You know, were just horrified. You can imagine what they're going through. He's 53 years old, and he said, "Yeah, I noticed 3 children on their bicycles with a flashlight." He was donned a mask that night and confronted the 3 children with a revolver near this little kid's home. When Heinrich confronted the boys, he told Jacob's brother and friend to run and forced Jacob into the car. And this little kid,
Didn't he
says,
ask them their ages? Didn't he approach them like, "How old are you?" And they went down the line. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take
"Yeah,
that
I'll
one."
take that one." And
11, perfect.
he said, "What?" The kid's words to him were, "What did I do wrong?" Imagine that, an 11-year-old kid on his bicycle. He then handcuffs the kid to the front seat and has a police scanner in his car, so he's able to hear when they're looking for him. And he was making the kid duck down and all that kind of shit. He drove around back roads, ending up with Jacob at a gravel pit where he removed the handcuffs, has the kid undress and masturbate. And the kid says, "I'm cold." He says, "Okay, you can get dressed." He told the court Jacob asked to go home, but he told him he couldn't take him all the way home, at which point the kid started to cry. I panicked. I pulled a revolver out of my pocket. I loaded it with 2 rounds, and I told him to turn around. I
So
told him...
he claims he never raped him. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. But he tells him, "I have to go to the bathroom, so turn around." And when the kid turns around, he shoots him. Yeah. So, and then he returns later to bury the boy's body. And then he comes back a year later, and he noticed the grave there's people digging like on this gravel yard, and he sees Jacob's coat sticking through the ground. And he's like, "Oh, man, this isn't going to work." And so he redug him up and then buried him somewhere else and was able to lead authorities there. And then he opened up a good day in court for him. He opened up about an earlier attack on another boy, Jared Sherrill, who was 12 at the time. I was driving around looking for a child.
Monster.
He came
Walking
across...
amongst us.
I know.
Driving among us.
He came across a boy on a dark street and asked for directions before he abducted him. Later, he said he got in the back seat, asked Jared to undress, attempts to blow the kid, which isn't working. That didn't work out too good, he says. So I asked him to perform oral sex on me, and I said, "If you throw up, I'll kill you." Yeah. He admitted to keeping his underwear as a souvenir, I guess. He told the court. He later told the court he didn't know either boy before the attacks. And blah, 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 just totally random. Jared, that kid got...
Yeah, he didn't kill that kid, right?
No, he didn't. And he spoke at a press conference, said, I was thrown into this investigation not by choice, but because I was a victim of an assault that in so many ways defined who I am today. If you'd asked me 25 years ago what my purpose in life was, I wouldn't have had an answer. If you asked me 18 years ago, I would have told you my daughter. Today, I'm in a moment of transcending or finding a new purpose and helping others gain closure. So this Heinrich asshole accepted a plea deal. He'll spend the next 20 years in prison. However, once those 20 years are over, he could spend more time under a civil law. So they say he's not getting away with anything. People seem relieved about this to finally have an answer. You can imagine what that's like for a family. to not know what happened. Ugh, just a terrible story.
So how'd they find that dude? How'd that all come about?
I think there was child porn, something or other tied him. I think he was always under investigation, but they never had quite enough evidence. And there was some sort of child porn something that they were able to get a warrant to search his house. And when they got in there, they searched and they found evidence, and DNA starts, they start connecting pieces, and then took him down to Chinatown. Brutal story though, man. And then Greta Van Susteren, talked about her yesterday briefly, leaving Fox News after 14 years. She was off the air yesterday and released a statement. Sounds like she's going to sue them too, maybe, for more money. Yes, I have left Fox News. Thursday night I made my decision and informed them of my decision that I was leaving. Per my contract, Fox has not felt like home for me for years, and I took advantage of the clause in my contract which allows me to leave now. I guess
a key man clause.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they got rid of Roger Ailes, and so that was a key man in the management. Mm-hmm. And so she and others, I guess, at Fox, like an O'Reilly, probably has one too.
Yeah.
They say if there's a major shakeup at the top, I don't have to sit here and work under this new management
and be a part of it. Exactly. So there's a time limit on that. And so her time limit was, I guess she asked for a bunch of money. They got into a financial disagreement. Her husband is a lawyer, and he was talking to the New York Times and said something about, it hasn't been a great place to work for a few years, and there's a lot people don't know about, and there's more to come. He was kind of alluding to some sort of financial or lawsuit coming down the road for her. I don't know.
You ever watch her? I never found her remarkably good.
No.
It's like kind of like whatever. And she's in, I think, a pretty primetime spot, or was.
7 o'clock, yeah. It's a huge primetime slot. Big name for Fox News. I every time I look at her, I just see plastic surgery. That's all I see.
Yeah, she's gross.
And I don't know what that is, but that she's got that look that a lot of these ladies are going
very
to.
Pulled.
Yeah, very
taut.
Straight. They can't really talk right. You know it when you see it immediately, and I don't.
It didn't help her much. She was on the homely side for sure before.
Yeah.
It was like, unless this is really going to help, don't even go there.
Yeah. I don't see it working well for any of these women. I don't know what the answer is. Just age gracefully, or, it happens to all of us. But, yeah, every time I saw her, it was hard to look at her. That's what I remember. So, and it's distracting as a viewer. It is. Not to be rude. And Elizabeth Vargas. Are you familiar with Elizabeth Vargas?
I know who she is.
At ABC.
Yeah, okay, I know who she is.
She's the drunk.
Yeah.
Who's she's got a new book coming out, and I told E to order it. But
yeah, she's been in and out, right? Rehab and stuff over the last 10 years.
Yeah. I guess she just loves her wine. And so she's got this new memoir, and so like all these, stories are starting to come out from the book, and she's talking in one of them. The book's called Between Breaths, a memoir of panic and addiction. She's talking about a passing motorist who had to save her from some predators as she was passed out like on a park bench.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's Elizabeth Vargas.
Dude, how weird would that be? She recalls dashing into a liquor store that summer day in July 2012 before showing up at the ABC studios to do a late morning interview for 2020. I mean, this is a huge news program that she's a part of. The minute the interview wrapped, she bolted to for a room off to the side, filled a water glass to the brim with wine, downed it, and then poured another. Hours later, a motorist spotted Vargas someplace in the park with two sketchy-looking men hanging around her. She fell into the woman's car, just managing to share her address before passing out. And so this stranger, drives her home. She was admitted to a hospital that day with a blood alcohol level of 0.4. Dude.
Get out of my car now!
That's where I'd be. I'd be like, okay, enough.
Oh, 0.4. I wonder if you'd even recognize her as Elizabeth Vargas at that point.
Right.
She's been sober 2 years now, writes that it was both the stress of the job and an unhappy marriage that launched her spiral. One night home alone with her kids, she drank so much that she had to be hospitalized to detox. Vargas said she started slipping into bars after work, secretly drinking at home. When she traveled overseas on assignment, she drank nonstop. Her first stint in rehab was a couple weeks at a treatment center, Cirque Lodge, in Utah. Then came the disastrous afternoon in the park that resulted in another month's stay in a rehab facility. In 2013, she was filling in for Robin Roberts.
Shut up, Robin.
Damn it! Who was battling cancer at the time on Good Morning America when she was informed that...
Robin Robbins had cancer? I never heard of
Yeah,
that.
you didn't hear that? Yeah.
Never heard of that. It's
Well,
crazy.
you won't hear her talk about it, but yeah, it happens.
Okay, that's cool.
She thinks she's got this huge interview that she's going to do with, what was her name? Amanda Knox, who was the big get at the time. And
She was a chick who was part of the murder investigation in Italy or
yes,
something?
exactly. Foxy Noxy.
Yeah. Yes.
She was cute.
That boyfriend that looked like Harry Potter.
Yes, exactly. They were seen like making out right after the murder,
Right.
like outside the house. And that interview went to Diane Sawyer. Oof. And that set her off too. It would be the even so, she thought she was going to be the first to interview Amanda Knox, but Knox's lawyer insisted the interview go to Sawyer. A slow burning resentment led her to reach for the bottle again. When she showed up at a location shoot for 2020 drunk, she landed back in rehab again, this time under total lockdown in Tennessee. Even her electronic toothbrush was confiscated. She's like, "Why are you taking my electronic toothbrush?" And she's like, some of you women like to turn it on and beat yourselves off with it, so we don't allow it anymore.
They can't beat themselves off in rehab?
Hell no, I guess
Why
not.
not?
I don't know. She's on lockdown.
Seriously.
She was told that other female patients would use it to masturbate, so the electronic toothbrush had to go. I know it seems like a jail thing. I'd understand that for a jail, but and then her husband refused to talk to her. He didn't even come for family weekend at the center, so she was all alone. She's like, "Yeah, I felt the stress of supporting the household. I fucked up. There's really no other way to put it." At home, she started to drink again. 4 days later, she was back at another center. Wow. Yeah. So
What's her present situation? She's
she's
still on
been
there?
2 years sober. She's on this Friday. 2020's season premiere kicks off, and she's going to be the topic. That's why things like this are coming out, and she's got this new book. Again, it's In Between Breaths. I can't wait to read it. Elizabeth Vargas, it's been a long battle for her, for sure. So I'm definitely interested to read the book. And then, you see Cosby back in court yesterday?
Saw him. He was wearing a seersucker suit. I wonder if that's a major fashion faux pas after
Wait,
Labor
a
Day.
what suit?
Seersucker.
What's seersucker?
You know, it's that stupid white with the blue lines. It's like a Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
I bet that's a fashion faux pas after Labor Day.
Well, no, white after Labor Day. Does that count as white?
I don't know, dude. Seersucker's like totally summertime. Oh, and is it douchey?
Yeah. Boy, he looks like he's having a ball, doesn't he? He's getting out of his
Yeah.
car just laughing. He's in hysterics.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Is that a fashion faux pas? Fashionista among us? What do you say?
I don't know. Man. I don't know
Can you Google it?
if that.
Can you wear seersucker after Labor Day?
I'll see what it says.
Anyway, he returned to the courtroom. Prosecutors said they want 13 other women who have accused him of molesting them to testify in his upcoming felony sex assault trial that's going to start June 5th. I wonder if that'll be a good trial.
He looks pretty good there, doesn't he? He was kind of looking shitty before.
He looks way better there.
Yeah, he was coming apart, man.
Well, what's going on with that milky eye? That eye doesn't look nearly
Right.
as milky. Is he not as blind anymore?
I don't know.
The judge did acknowledge that he is blind. He needed help getting out of the SUV with assistance, from his legal team. Cosby's lawyers asked the prosecutors not be allowed to use the telephone conversation recorded by Andrea Constan's mom. Remember that? We heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she recorded that. Well, the tape was to be played in the hearing yesterday while the judge mulled over the issue. Cosby in the conversations described the sex act as digital penetration, but refused to tell her mom what pills he had given the daughter. The defense is arguing that he didn't know he was being recorded and the tape should not be permitted under Pennsylvania's two-party wiretap law. So, I don't know. when we'll know for sure about
When did you say that gets started?
June 5th next year.
Oh, come on, man.
Isn't that crazy? I know.
What do you think, E? Is it a faux pas?
It looks like it's a real debate on
Is
whether
it a fox talk? Really? There's a real debate out there.
There is
huh?
I mean, when I looked it up,
I frankly wouldn't do it.
here's what the one person says here, that it looks like you probably would not wear it in the winter, but maybe into
Of
September.
course you wouldn't wear it in the winter.
But
The
maybe
question
into
is after Labor Day.
Well, what is after Labor Day mean? Is that just a designated date? I mean, if it's still 80 and sunny out,
Which it is.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to look. I guess I didn't realize it'd be an actual thing. I actually thought I would type that in and nothing would show up, but apparently it is a debate.
Yeah.
Is there any other information on the
Hotly
debate?
contested.
I'm trying to see. Just a second. I would say that it looks like, from the few minor things I'm looking at, I would say probably not wearing it after
I would
Labor
say,
Day.
gentlemen, just to be safe, on the safe side, don't
Yeah.
wear seersucker
I don't see
after
anything
Labor Day.
majorly saying it's okay. They
Right.
all look to kind of give excuses of when you should stop wearing
Raises
it.
a red flag to me.
What pants do you wear with seersucker
Seersucker
jackets?
pants.
You have to. You can't go like dark blue.
I don't think so. Maybe. you
So you're
can.
going full on Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wear that shit, so, and I never have.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the real rule is, whether you go full on or whether you could go a navy pant. I think seersucker is seersucker. That's like wearing two different fabrics. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you
yeah.
wouldn't do that in a.
Sounds like Easter is when you can start wearing it, and Labor Day. A lot of
Yeah.
people think Labor Day might be the cutoff.
Well,
Wow.
Look at-
I object, Mr. Cosby.
He's 1 day late. Can we? And he's blind. You gonna hold
you
him
can
to that?
feel it, can't you? Doesn't your sense of touch go through the roof when you become blind?
Yeah. Maybe all his other suits were being washed.
Maybe.
Well, how old is the world's oldest man?
I don't know.
Well, there's a guy claiming that he's 145.
No way, dude. That puts him in like Civil War and shit.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, he looks great.
You're right there, right at the end of the Civil War. Come on, man. Oh my God, yeah, he looks great. Where's this dude from?
Well, Philippines.
It's hard
I
to
think.
say.
Yeah. He's got his ID card, though,
Yeah.
and it has 1870 down as his birth date. Photos have emerged of this Indonesian man who claims he's the world's oldest. According to the documentation, recognized by Indonesian officials.
Yeah, would you go to that place in Windsor and get his ID? Everybody knows that place.
Bob's photo ID?
Yeah. That son of a bitch. Give me one, making me 140.
You imagine? Oh, God, he looks
He
150.
looks dead. Are we sure
Yeah,
that's
I was
not a
gonna
corpse?
say,
You know how they got into that in Cuba or wherever that was, where they're like propping guys up, having them playing dominoes?
Yes.
One
Yeah,
last
yeah,
round
yeah.
of dominoes. That dude's dead,
Yeah, are you sure?
Look at him eating.
allegedly.
He's
I want to see
being
a
helped.
video. This is a still. See, he put his ID in his cold, dead fingers.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Well, they claim he's not. He's not surprisingly outlived all 10 of his siblings, as well as his 4 wives, the last of whom died back in '88. All of his children have also died. Oh, poor guy. All his kids are dead. And he's now survived by, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, even a couple great-great-grandchildren. Despite his age, he's still able to walk and move independently. If correct, that makes him significantly older than the verified oldest person in the world ever.
Look at that. He was born on New Year's Eve, huh?
Yeah.
12/31/1870. That's
Yep.
nice. Got his parents a nice tax break that year.
Yes, he sure did.
Excellent.
And it's an easy birthday to remember.
It really is.
Those of us with the middle of no time.
Oh, no, yours is next week. Everybody should remember that.
Thanks. Yeah.
September 12th. If anybody wants to wish Mike a happy birthday.
Anyone wants to wish
Easy to
Jay a
remember. It's
belated-
right after 9/11.
Yeah.
Can't forget it.
Thank you for that. So the title currently belongs to a French woman, Jeanne Calment, who lived to be 122. This senior is from Central Java, this guy. He was interviewed by the local TV news. He says he's been through it all and he wouldn't mind passing on.
Yeah.
What I want is to die. My grandchildren are all independent.
Do they always say it's like that Benjamin Button movie with I think that was Tom Hanks, but I don't remember who was in it. But that's like the one negative if you were to
Is that
live
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, you're right. If you were to live really long, you just end up being alone and you have no friends because all your friends die.
Yeah, it sucks.
Everyone you know dies if you just keep going along.
They say he eats everything, and he's never ill. Mba Gatho is his name. His grandson says his grandfather's been preparing for his death ever since he was 122, but it never seemed to come. The gravestone there was made in 1992. That was 24 years ago. The family has prepared his gravesite for him near his children's graves. Whether or not he will ever be listed as the world's oldest man, however, is open to question, as the paperwork has not been independently verified. If so, he will join others without verifiable records who are purportedly even older than Mba, including 171-year-old James Olofintiri from Nigeria.
Yeah.
He may be gone to Bob's photo ID as well, not sure. And 163-year-old Dakabo Eba from Ethiopia. When asked the secret to longevity, his answer was, the recipe is just patience.
Kind of hard to vet that shit, right? There's no other record of this dude other than this Bob's photo ID.
Yeah.
Like, we're taking his word for
Is
it.
he-
What do you think
Can't
happened?
remember.
He went in at like 90 and got an ID, and they went, what year were you born? He went 1870, and they went, okay.
Or yeah, exactly. Or he meant 1970. I don't know. They're just a typo. Maybe he meant I'm 104, and they put 140.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Has
It
he
is
heard
hard to
of
say.
like guns or anything? Like he says he's ready to just be done. He could commit suicide. Like it's possible.
Doesn't sound like he wants to do that. It sounds like he's been ready to go for a long time.
It's waiting for nature to finally take its course. Hey, it's been 2 beautiful hot summer months, and now Zott Ford is offering 2 beautiful hot summer deals to our TDC listeners. Right now, and only at Zott Ford in Halley, you can lease either a 2017 Ford Fusion or a 2017 Ford Escape for just $133 a month for only 24 months. That's right, a new Ford Fusion or Ford Escape, your choice, and both are just $133 per month. Hurry to Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98. Pick your funky, fresh new Fusion or Escape and ride home with a smile. Get all the details at ZottFord.com.
Do you want to call someone who survived through Nazi Germany?
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
Annalise David. We talked to her last week, as I mentioned earlier. There she is with her daughter.
Freya. Lovely young
Yeah,
woman.
French Freya, who we called, who was celebrating 32 years, I believe, at McDonald's and was retiring. And as I mentioned earlier, Jay and I, as soon as we got off the phone with her, we were like, fuck, she's 90. That means she would have been alive, at least young, during the Nazi Germany reign. And so, I don't know, it's kind of touchy subject, so we'll
Do our best.
feel it out a little bit and see if she talks at all about those days. But let's give her a buzz.
Hello?
Annalise.
Yeah?
Hi, it's your friends Mike and Jay from the Detroit Cast.
Hello.
In Detroit, Michigan. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Do you remember talking to us last week?
Oh, you were at McDonald's?
Well, we
Well-
spoke to you about your daughter. Yeah, and her
Freya.
Oh,
amazing run at McDonald's.
oh yeah.
We're the guys that had you translate some German for us.
Remember, goddammit, Marcel.
Goddammit, Marcel.
She's a good woman. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 It was fun. You were a big hit with the audience. They really, really liked you.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
They were impressed with your German-speaking skills.
well, you know, I come from Germany, and I was 30 years in Germany.
Oh, 30 years.
Well,
Yeah.
From when you were born until the age of 30?
Right.
So you
Right,
lived
and
you
then-
lived through some tough times there, World War II.
All right, we did, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What was that like?
Well, not very exciting, I can tell you that.
Where did you live?
We lived in Braunschweig.
Ah, yes.
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
lovely this time
yeah.
of year.
Yeah, we always, we always had to go because it was, what should I say, alarms, The airplanes came at night and we
Yeah.
had to go, to the things. So
A
it
little bit
was,
of a reverse blitzkrieg, perhaps.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, some might say
It was not,
kind of had
not
it coming.
exciting.
Ah,
It's fun?
It wasn't fun, you said?
No, it wasn't fun.
Yeah. Do you remember a lot from those days?
A lot from these days? Yeah,
Ye-
sure. I
Yeah.
remember because, I was I was 30 years old when I came here in the United States.
so you probably had many family and friends who were affected by the war, whether as
Right.
soldiers or
Right.
otherwise.
Right. My brother died, and from my husband's brother, he died too in the war,
Ah,
got killed, and so it was not, it was not very nice. Yeah,
Well-
and I hope we're not going to get another war here. I hope not.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst thing I think you can have a war. Yeah.
What was? Do you remember what life was like under an Adolf Hitler?
Well, I was very young then, when Hitler came on the power. I was 7 years old. So, for us kids, it was actually very exciting because, we were, not in group homes, but they built houses for the kids, and we had a lot of sport and a lot of, we were organized.
Yeah. So he did a lot. He did some good too.
yeah, kind of some sectioning off and organization.
Yeah, but he became a little later on. He became a little,
Yeah.
A little extreme.
It
maybe.
happens.
Could be argued.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was, but
Overall impression of Adolf Hitler?
well,
Take the mustache out of it.
not good.
Not good overall.
Right answer, I think.
Yeah.
No,
I think so too. Jay brings up an interesting point though. The mustache. I mean,
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention it.
yeah. What did you think at the time of his mustache? I mean, it really hasn't made much of a comeback since. I mean, he kind of ruined that mustache. Shame.
Oh, this I don't know. This I cannot tell you why. And no.
Was there a lot of pressure back then amongst the men to grow that sort of Hitler stash?
No.
He was one of a kind, huh?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, setting aside Chaplin.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it must have gotten really bad, during the war and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have much to eat and much to wear. You couldn't buy anything.
Yeah.
No shoes and things. Die always said, Deutschland stolz läuft an Holz.
Yeah.
Right.
So I always like to have perspective about things. I mean, it could have been worse. You could have been Jewish. So
That's a great point. Do you
Yeah.
remember how like the neighborhood felt at the time? Were people on Germany's side, or did the population in general feel like, oh my God, this guy's turning into a monster?
Well, in this time, I was too young, about thinking about politics.
Yeah.
I was too young for
Wait,
it.
what year were you born?
1926.
Wow.
26. I was 7 years old when he came on the power.
Yeah.
Gross.
So, I was not interested in politics.
Yeah, you were just trying to grow up, be a kid, right?
Right.
When was the last time you were in Germany?
Oh, it's 10 years ago, I think.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the United States?
Well, my
It's gotta be a dude.
sister-in-law,
Yeah.
What was
she
it?
came first. My sister-in-law, she came first, and she got married
And she was like, hey, it's badass over here. Get your ass over.
Yeah,
right?
they're not killing Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we came. Then my husband was finishing school, and then we came over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in this time, we were married. We married in Germany, and you don't have any houses to live in there, So we were living just in one room. Everybody who had a big apartment and had to give a room up to other people.
Yeah, kind of Anne Frank in it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then we came over here, and my husband started to work first for Raytheon, then for Honeywell, and the last he worked for Wing. And then he retired.
And French Fry was born here in the States?
Yeah, here in Edam. After 5 years, we lived in Waltham in an apartment. We moved here to Needham. Yeah.
Ah, very good.
And we're living here 55 years already in the same apartment.
Wow. your landlord is loving you.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope it's rent controlled. You getting a good deal on it?
Here on this, on our house?
Yeah.
No. I never heard about this.
Yeah. Okay.
You tell me more.
Well, we just wanted to call back and say hi, see how French Fry is doing, and obviously we got an update on that. So.
She's very sad about it, not working for McDonald's anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be an adjustment.
No way.
It's going to be an adjustment. Is there another hobby or something that you'll be able to introduce or help her?
For her?
Yeah.
But she likes coloring, she loves it, She sits there and colors, And now, of course, she has to go to the daycare center from Charles River Center. And, she preferred, of course, McDonald's. But, now lately, she forgets a lot.
Oh, she forgets a lot. Yeah, you talked her into quitting that job at McDonald's because she was forgetting a lot. What is she forgetting?
Well, you have to tell her a few times, Fire, go and get me this or that. She looked at you like she doesn't get it.
Jay does that to me too. Same type of thing.
Yeah.
He has to tell me over and over again.
It's pretty annoying, isn't it? Yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a crew there in McDonald's was very nice to her.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
She's very, very sad about it. But we're going every Saturday, we're going to McDonald's. Every Saturday she took me to McDonald's for a hamburger or something. Yeah. Well, now we're going, and now we don't have to pay.
Yeah,
it's all free. Nice.
What do you think?
That's awesome.
Now I can go every day, probably. But I don't have to pay for it.
That'll help offset your exorbitant rent.
I wouldn't do it, but even prior, when prior was there, she had just once a week she had McDonald's. And the other,
that's it?
She always brought her lunch herself then.
Well, I wish her great success in the coloring, and else she decides to do. She's a great young woman.
Inspiration doll.
Inspiration, definitely. So.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ann.
What are you going to do with the information I gave you?
Nothing. We were just interested ourselves.
I see.
Jay might sell it to a tabloid, but that's it. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're glad you got out of Nazi Germany. I hope you're cool with the Jews and all that stuff. Now, I'm sure you are.
I would recommend it. They're good people.
Yeah. We love it now here. In the beginning, if you go in a country and you don't can speak the language, it's very, very hard. And I was ready every day, to go home again. But now I would go. No,
But
I
you were
don't.
like, yeah, language barrier, torching
Right.
Jews, language barrier, torching. Like, yeah, it's a tough decision, but I think you made the right one.
I would say so, and it's
Yeah.
pretty impressive that you've kept such a thick accent all these many years. It's always struck me as odd how people could do that, but
Yeah.
impressive. Very good. You're hanging on to your past.
Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me, you were from where? What?
The Detroit area in Michigan.
Oh.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you an reporter?
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we wear like derby hats that say press on them.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Like
You
those
see
Anastasia? Yeah, Anastasia. So what was Nazi Germany like, see?
Oh.
Like those guys from the 50s. You remember them?
Oh.
Tell me everything you know, sweetheart.
All right. Well, okay. Well,
Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, and
Really
give our best to Freya.
okay.
French fries, sorry.
Bye.
Okay,
Have a
bye,
lovely
Annalise.
day.
Have a
Bye-bye.
beautiful day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
She's a good woman.
Annalise. I said Anastasia. Whatever. They call her
Yeah,
Anastasia.
you did. You've been around Disney characters too long.
Annalise. Isn't that weird how people can be here that long and keep the damn accent?
What do you expect? Do you honestly think you'd go to Germany in a couple years if you go and
No, but in 50 years, yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Accents are so weird. The way they
Well,
work.
I could see having a little bit of a, I hear something there, but dude, she sounds like she came over on the friggin' boat yesterday.
Yeah, she does. But so does Oof, though.
I know, and it's always struck me that son of a bitch is just like, no, not giving it up. That's all it is.
You think?
Yeah.
Could you imagine Uwe trying to talk like just American? Know how
Hi there, guys. How are you?
Gentlemen, good day.
Sit down and have a beer, darn it.
Mark, get the gentleman a beer and a shot.
You are a good woman.
It wouldn't work. We have success. Any pussy last night, gentlemen. How did we do? It would be creepy.
It wouldn't work.
No, you need to go.
So, did you guys have good night last night? Did you get some pussy last night?
Yeah.
That's my boys. Good. Have a seat. Have a shot of beer.
Ooh, I got a test in the morning.
Put some air in your balls. Margaret, get the boys a beer and a shot.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean,
Steak for schnitzel.
darn it, Marcel. It just doesn't.
Nah, doesn't have a ring to it. God damn it,
Darn it, Marcel.
Gosh dang it, Marcel.
I'm upset with you, sir.
Yeah, that's
God damn it, Marcel! Marcel!
this is a much better ring to it. Anyway, well, it's good to catch up with her.
Annalise, she's sharp as a tack. I'll
She,
tell you that much.
dude, not once. I mean, there might have been a slight language barrier in some things, but none hearing-wise.
No.
I mean, she heard everything we said.
She got it.
Yeah. Wow, growing up in Nazi Germany. Holy shit. Seems like she's cool with the Jews, though.
It did.
I mean, it didn't seem like there was an over. It's like she was going to make dinner, but
Not
it
super
seemed like
excited about him, but, not going to gas us at the same time.
yeah, I thought I was worried for a minute when you asked her how she felt about Hitler. And she seemed like she was kind of on the fence for a while.
Yeah. Well, he's a charismatic leader, Mike.
He was fiery. Give him that. I've seen him just screaming his fucking head off in his videos. Man! Guy was into what he was doing. Anyway, good catching up with Annalise. And maybe we'll do it again sometime. We need translation, for sure.
For sure.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zod Ford and Holly. We're much closer than you think, and we specialize in getting folks out of their lease up to 12 months early. It doesn't matter what brand or how many miles you have on it. The team at Zod Ford will assist in terminating your current lease with no penalties and hook you up with a sweet new Ford. So dump your overpriced, over-mileage lease and let your friends at Zod Ford make your wildest dreams come true. Check out our astonishing deals and massive inventory at ZodFord.com.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Big E sitting here as well.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
We got to mention our new sponsor, Douglas. Buying a home can be one of the most stressful times of a person's life.
Agreed.
Doug Steinert at Century 21 Campbell wants to make the sale of your old home or the purchase of your dream home as stress-free as possible. Call Douglas at 248-765-1781 and let him and the team at Century 21 Campbell make your home purchasing dreams a reality. Call Doug at 248-765-1781 and ask for fellow Detroitcast listener Doug Steinert. Moreover, upon completion of any and all purchase agreements, Doug will exclaim,
It is my fucking goddamn property! Get out!
Oh, that's-
now!
he
Oh, that's
promises.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's good for him. Welcome aboard, Douglas. Hope this works well for you, sir.
Douglas.
Douglas, goddammit, Douglas. E was just talking to us on the break, being made fun of over the weekend.
Fucking E.
Yeah.
Everything he touches.
I know. I get it. I get it.
He posed the question to us: does Beck's beer have alcohol in it?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just honestly, I don't know why. I was looking through my, what brought it up. I was looking through
Well
my
put, E.
Save Snap story from the weekend, and it just reminded me again. So I just wanted to ask you guys, as people who probably might know, I was like, dude,
It's a little narcissistic, isn't it? Going through your
I know.
own Snapchat.
It's more
Yeah.
just because I like looking at the
you're,
memories.
you're looking for like likes or whatever. Is that how they do
No,
it?
this is even worse because at this point,
Does
that's
Snapchat
gone.
have that?
Yeah, no, well, Snapchat doesn't have likes. They just have views. You just see who viewed you. But at this point, that goes away in 24 hours no matter what. So if you save your story, it's just me looking at it. At this point, it's not even, you can't even see who liked it anymore. It's just me
Gotcha.
looking at my own pictures, essentially. But it just made me wonder, like, was I that stupid in not knowing that Beck's beer was just a non-alcoholic beer? And that's why I asked you guys. I was like, because
So, pose the scenario.
well, we're there. We're on the pub crawl on Mackinac Island, and I try to get different things once in a while other than just Bud Light. So I kind of looked over at the bar. We're at the table.
Wait, you're in a pub crawl and you're drinking Bud Lights?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck.
All right.
Because here's the
He
problem.
likes to experience the
Well, no. Here's the
different beers at all the different pubs.
No, here's
Drinking around the world at every stop.
no. Here's
Every
the,
I had a
pub is
Bud
so
Light in
different.
Germany,
that
I
is
had a
not
Bud Light
why
in
I do
Poland.
it. I've actually gotten better recently, where I don't drink Bud Lights nearly as much as I used to at bars. But the problem is, this is an all-day thing, and I can't pound beers as it is. Bud Light is something that I can put down as fast as, because then sometimes they're getting a drink once in a while, or they can drink beer fast.
So you're doing a pub crawl 13 stops.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't be drinking mixed drinks.
I no, and that's my. But even them, like my sister and Mark and them, they can drink.
Mongoloid
Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you
Sorry,
for the listener.
they can drink beer faster. So if I get a Bud Light, it's something I can keep up with. That's really the more reason. But I looked up at the wall and I'm like, I want to get something different.
That's a pretty green bottle.
Yeah,
I
look
never
at
had
that
Beck's
green one.
before.
It's got foil on it.
You're right. I saw the
I
foil.
like the bee.
Saw the foil. I said I never had a Beck's before. And I bring the Beck's over, and we're all drinking. And then pretty soon, like instantly, just jokes start getting made towards my direction,
Yeah.
and I don't. Like
That has to happen a lot in your daily existence, though.
This was more so than other times, though. Like,
Yeah.
to the point where everybody they were just nonstop about it. I'm like, finally, like, what are you guys laughing? Like, I took an image, and he's pointing at it. Then they like pointed right at the bottle, and I'm looking right at it, going, I don't know.
Didn't see the word non-alcoholic
And then
there.
finally go, non-alcoholic.
Yeah, so Beck's has a non-alcoholic version. But
Right.
you weren't stupid to grab a Beck's. Beck's is definitely an alcoholic beer.
Right. Then that was my question. I just wondered if I was that.
No.
I felt like I've seen
Had you
commercials.
said, as O'Doul's or something.
Right. I was trying to think of that. O'Doul's is definitely, that's all they make is non-alcoholic, right?
I don't
I
think
think it's
there's
an,
an-
Yes,
I think
there's
it's
not
a
an
version
alcoholic.
of
It's a Budweiser.
Budweiser, yeah.
Anheuser-Busch version of a. They have Anheuser-Busch. I cannot believe this. I don't know why they make it, but they make a Busch NA that you can purchase. Busch beer has an NA, and I only know because I'm
Oh, it is delicious.
stupid.
What is the point? It seems like such a dick tease
I
to do
don't
to an
understand
alcoholic or something, you know?
I don't understand it. I'm
Probably for
so-
that guy who finishes a round of golf and everybody's drinking. He's like, oh.
Yeah, I want to be
But
a man
wouldn't you-
too. I'll have an O'Doul's.
Wouldn't you
All right,
still just
pal.
get a Pepsi, I guess, or like an iced tea at that point? I mean, why? I don't understand it. If I had a point where I'm like, you have to stop drinking, then I'm drinking Pepsis or something at that point. I'm not drinking.
Well, yeah, I guess there are people out there that just like the taste of beer.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Bush.
I've always felt like, you know, the taste of beer is kind of gross, but that's why you drink 10 of them to get.
I know.
It starts to break down that feel, and then you can just, you know, enjoy a nice beer after about 10 of them. But I guess there are people out there that like just the taste of beer and miss that.
I got in trouble one time from my mom because I was never a cool person. I didn't hook up to
No,
alcohol
come on,
like
E.
Yeah, don't sell yourself
like
short.
you guys. I did not have hookups to
He
alcohol.
needed an Uwe.
I did, and I didn't.
Uwe wouldn't have liked you very much. No
No,
offense.
I agree. I'm sure from Mason your stories. But so one day when I was like between 18 and 21, I bought a case of Bush NA. And I
Will
brought
they
it-
sell that to you if you're underage?
Yeah, you can buy
Just
non-alcoholic
18.
beer
You
at
have to be
18
because it does have a little bit.
it's
right?
like 0.05 or something. And I had it, and my mom found it, and I got in trouble.
God, what is-
I remember we were watching. Chubbs was over for the NASCAR race, and I had them in the house in the basement. I
How old are you at this point?
18 or 19.
Did you think that was cool? What was the thought process?
I don't know.
Did Chubbs know that they were fake?
Yes, because here's what. Chubbs was even making fun of me. That's how bad it was. Because it was like a Saturday night. We were there to watch a Saturday night NASCAR race, like Bristol or something. And I was like, Chubbs, do you want a Bush NA? He's like, whoa, Eric, I'm driving. And he didn't take one, and I was drinking them.
No further comment from Chubbs. Not like, you fucking moron. Nothing like
No,
that.
I mean,
Chubbs is the most patient man on the face of the
No,
earth.
I think
He
he was probably.
is.
There was probably more.
Don't you
jokes,
think the move there is to go, hey man, you want a beer? And he goes, yeah, shit, hell yeah, if you got one. And then I'll pour in a mug for you, and you pour it into a mug, and,
and then
give
you
him a
watch your
beer.
friend get fake
drunk. Yeah,
I know. I don't know.
Woo!
pound 5 or 6 of those.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I
Just
don't-
straight calorie gain.
I don't know. Although that is something I always wanted to do is see if you could fill up a keg of non-alcoholic beer and give it to you're like you said a group of underage kids and see if
See
you
'em
would
get
get
shitty.
Yeah,
right.
they would.
Probably.
They would. Sure, they would.
Anyway.
Um,
Well, at least I didn't feel. I feel less stupid at least that I wasn't totally.
Yeah, it's not a
Like,
no duels.
okay.
Bex definitely has an alcoholic version, so.
Yeah. You were talking about Douglas a second ago and his home sales. There was a a house that was being egged repeatedly in Ohio. I don't know if he'd be interested in selling it if this guy moves on, but
You ever egged a house? I've never egged a house.
I don't think so, dude. That's funny you asked that because I was wondering that myself. Like,
I've never vandalized. I've never gotten that.
No,
You
me
know?
either. No, we obviously had friends who did.
Yeah.
Why did you eat? Did you,
You know
egg
what?
a house?
I've only done it one time, and it doesn't even very barely qualify. I had the ridiculous situation, of course. I had this girl that I was into, and then it didn't work out.
No.
No, yeah, of course it didn't.
So then it was like 1 a.m, and me and my buddy, I guess Mickey it must have been, I was like, I'm gonna go egg this girl's house for whatever reason.
yeah.
For whatever reason.
Get back at her for being reasonable.
I know. I don't know why.
She refuses to date a retard. Hell yeah, let's
Well,
egg that shit.
Even worse at this point, I was out of high school and she was in high school.
Wait,
How far out?
She was a senior, but I was like a year. It was like 2 years.
No big deal.
Yeah, but at the time, it's whatever. But you know, the funny thing is, so I had these eggs.
this isn't the one you brought the soap basket for, is it?
Yes.
Oh my god. Jeez. Yeah, he went
Can't believe you
whole
remember
9
that.
yards on
I
that one.
can't
What did he
believe you
do?
remember
Didn't he
that.
Not Mandy. Is it Mandy?
Oh,
Okay.
No.
boy.
Different one. There's 2 in the
Yeah.
prime frame. I went away from that after these 2.
Are you
but
sure?
I'm definitely sure. Trust me. Why
it
would
was
I not?
Mandy.
It was not. But the thing
Didn't
is,
you have like Chubbs or TCG carry that?
Chubbs did.
I love you, baby. I'm still available. Oh man.
There's E standing outside her house with a fucking jukebox above his head.
And soaps at his feet.
Oh man.
This brings back horrible memories, doesn't it?
Yeah, terrible. But I don't remember. So the thing is about the egging, I don't remember why, but these eggs were like, in the end, I think they'd been sitting in my car for a while, so they weren't even. They were like, I think I bought them like
Rotten.
the night before, or it was winter out. So so they were hard. So we chucked them against like the garage door.
hard-boiled?
They didn't break, and then I had to bust out of there. And I
you
was,
don't hard boil the eggs before you go
not
egg in a
hard boiled,
house.
but they were like frozen. I think because I think they were sitting in my car, and then
Didn't break.
Only person in the history of time who cannot pull off a successful house egging.
Asshole.
and then here's the problem. So I started busting away, trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And my car, my old car, this was an old like '92 Pontiac at the time I had or something, and it had issues all the time anyway. So all of a sudden I'm driving, and then the car's like having an issue. I'm like, and I thought my tire had like fallen off or something, like my wheel well. And when it turned out, is I had ran over a garbage can, and it was like stuck in the wheel well.
There he is, folks. Take him in. Take it all in.
His quick getaway was thwarted.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm trying to bust
By his own
away.
retardedness.
I remember just saying, like, just get out of the neighborhood and we'll deal with it then. If I could just get out of the neighborhood. And so we kind of got to the end of the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and then I got out, and it was like the top of a garbage can, and I
Yeah.
chucked it, and I got away, luckily, but
Yeah.
Did you back into something recently?
no.
I saw a pretty large dent in your rear bumper
Really?
next to the Huey Lewis.
Is that the left side? I'm trying to think.
It's the driver's side.
Wait.
Yeah, no, dude, that's been there for a while, and I don't
Has
know
it?
what it's from. Yes, and I don't
Somebody
know what.
railed your
I'm not
ass.
kidding you. I don't know what it's from.
Hold on.
Which means,
Hold on. Is the Huey Lewis sticker okay?
Huey Lewis is fine. I'll
You
show
sure
I'll
it's
show
not
you the
pre-peeling
image.
or
I'll show
anything?
you the image.
I know
took
what you're
it on my
talking
way
about,
in.
dude.
Yeah, somebody crushed you, man.
I know.
Oh,
That's been there for. Dude, that's been there for a while. I swear to
Dude,
God,
I
it
didn't
wasn't-
notice that.
Let me see.
That's
Huey
like-
Lewis is fine.
I've noticed.
yeah. It's a good distance from Huey Lewis.
No,
Thank
yeah,
God.
dude, I'm not kidding
Wow.
you. That was not me. That's actually been there. You just missed it, but that's been there for. God, at least 6 months. I don't know, and I don't know where it came from. It was not from me. I
Looks
promise
like a
you.
pole, an abutment of some sort.
I know,
Yeah.
but okay. Well, I don't.
way.
It happened, and all I'm saying is I really, really, really think that someone hit me in a parking lot and just took off or something, because I really don't think that was me.
Well,
I don't remember.
So you tried and unsuccessfully egged a house, E. That's amazing.
I did get my house got TP'd hardcore one year too, actually.
Yeah. Were you on the football team?
No, but my suspect was
Your suspect. Let's listen to his suspect.
I suspected that this was some cheerleaders. Because there was this one.
They do it to all the star players, E. Once a year.
No, there was this one
Don't worry
cheerleader
about
I'd
it.
been giving quite a bit of hassle to my entire senior year, and I just always believed that it was them somehow. She would walk by our lunch table every day, and I would just yell at her to take off her varsity jacket and that cheerleading wasn't a sport every single day for my entire senior year.
Nice.
And I believe that was her.
So they TP'd the shit out of your
They
house.
TV'd the fuck out of my front of my
manor?
house. Yeah. I forgot. I haven't thought about it in a while, but it was like 4 or 5 of the tree. Like, it was a decent amount of TPing. And I don't know why I led to believe that, but I definitely thought it was them.
Was
Yeah.
Mrs. Fady angry about that one? Hi, Miss Fady.
I look back on it, I guess, what
You
could they
cleaned
do?
it up?
Yeah, I cleaned it
Okay.
up, so I guess.
Yeah, pretty harmless TP. I mean,
Yeah, I imagine if you get it wet, it just falls apart. But yeah, it wouldn't be fun. Yeah, you and I were never big into the Vandal game.
No.
The only thing I remember is mailbox baseball one night. Like one night out with Dreyer and Seike, probably drunk. And I just remember, I've told the story before, I think it was Ed leaning out the window
Yes.
and hitting a mailbox and it firing right back through the window.
Yeah.
The bat just went
Karma.
psh. Yeah, totally karma. And that was the end of the game. So I think it was one round of mailbox baseball and the mailbox won.
You know,
I think that was our only round that we ever played.
I
but-
feel like I've told this story already, so if you guys remember me telling it, I guess I can whatever. But I did used to take. This is bad, I guess, really. But I did used to take that same Grand Prix. That was like one of those just cars that you could just do. It seemed like you could just do whatever to, and just made it through. And I did used to go post garbage day, like when the garbages were empty, and just rev it up and sideswipe garbage cans, and they would just shatter into the yards. I mean,
empty garbage cans.
Yes,
wow,
and
you
I would-
showed them.
but they would get like
They'd crush it.
yeah, they would get blown into pieces.
Oh, those plastic ones?
Yes, and
Yeah.
then one time until I finally stopped when one time I did it, and it wasn't empty. I assumed it was. And I hit a full one. It just went everywhere. And then Burley was driving to school the next day, and he said he saw the dude out there picking up the trash.
You're a dick.
I ended up stopping after that. And then I started to realize, dude, one of these times I'm just going to drill my car, and I'm going to have to explain why my car has a problem.
I love how Burley knows. This is something that he just bright. Yeah, dude, I hit 5 more on the
they
way to
used to be
school.
in the car
And
with
they're
me.
Oh, God.
Yeah, dumb shit. Well, this guy in Ohio, he was egged. His house was egged more than 100 times. And the guy that did the egging walked free yesterday. He was sentenced to 18 months of probation. Jason Kozan is his name. 31 years old. Come on, 31? What are you, Big E of Ohio?
31.
31, and you're out egging the old
To
man's
be clear,
house
I
next
haven't
door?
done either of those things since I've been 21. I'm not kidding.
Over 100 times?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. What's the beef? Like, what?
I don't know. They don't say, which is the problem. I want to call the guy, but anyway, he had to pay a $1,000 fine, but that wouldn't. I mean, that's court costs would be $1,000. And the tax on 86-year-old Albert Clemming Sr.
God, of course he's 86.
Albert. What the hell could Albert have done?
It's probably one of those things he did it and it was hilarious the first time. And maybe Albert had a dumb reaction, so he did it again. And he reacted the same way. And it was cracking up, so he just every day for the next 100 days.
Maybe, or it could be knowing kid. Well, I hate to say kids. He's 31. But, I mean, who knows if Albert's one of the get off my lawn guys, and, don't step foot on my lawn. And, but I don't know. He pled guilty last week to inducing panic against the old man. And the vandalism and menacing charges were dropped. But the egg throwing occurred between May of 2014 and June of 2015. Clemens and his wife have lived at this home for 60 years. And then she died. So she's not alive anymore. But his 51-year-old...
She never got to see justice done in this regard.
No, I don't know if she was alive to see the actual eggings either. So I think it sounds like she died a few years ago. But he's still there with his 51-year-old son and 49-year-old daughter. They still live with him. Authorities haven't said what motivated the attacks. The attacks usually lasted for 10 minutes and always occurred after dark.
Thwap, thwap.
I mean, that's part of the rules, though. You can't egg in the daylight, right?
I know,
I mean, that's like
that's
like vampire rules. Like any business we conduct takes place after dark. For over 2 years,
God.
He said they would last 10 minutes. They happen multiple times a week, sometimes several times a day. Clemens and his family sometimes woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of just eggs mashing on the door. 2 in the morning.
Does this guy have a job that's throwing the eggs?
I don't know. And so he gave a victim statement in court, and part of it said, for over 2 years, Jason Kozan subjected my family to constant barrage of flying eggs, assorted produce such as apples, oranges, potatoes, and grapefruits. My daughter was hit squarely on the titties by an egg. He said chest, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
How could she have been hit square on the tits?
Hold on. Out of all those things, what would you least want to be hit by? List those again.
Oh, it's no doubt.
Yeah, I know the answer too.
There is a right answer
Go
to this
ahead and list
question.
them.
So you've got the eggs, which I have experience with, by the way.
Been hit by an egg?
And that is not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you about that, right? John Heller, that motherfucker down at the end of my street when I lived in Livonia, riding my bike.
With your fancy mag wheels?
Yeah, it was probably a mongoose. It was tight. It was tight. You would have been jealous. And I was riding down the street, and him and his shithead buddies were up on the roof, and they start chucking eggs, and this fucking egg hits me square in the goddamn face as I pass the Heller residence. Boom! It didn't knock me off my bike. In my defense, it did knock me off my bike, and I did not cry.
Wow.
But dude,
really, you did
the sheer shame in finishing your route down your street.
Well, and then coming home with egg dripping off your face.
Literally,
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say,
This egg on your face.
This is the same son of a bitch. I mean, his aim was unbelievable. When me and my buddy were riding our bikes, and I was in front, we were going to my house. As soon as we get to the Heller household, John's up on the roof again with a rock and hits a fucking beehive, dead nuts, right when we went under it. And these things,
It's
I
like
swear
a
to
movie or
God,
something.
100 fucking bees fell onto my buddy's head at once and stung him. like literally 100 times. He had to be taken to the hospital and everything.
This guy must have some aim, man.
I know, from the roof. I never told you guys about that.
I do remember that one. I don't remember the egg.
Yeah, I like I said, it's a shameful story in my past.
I'd
I'm
love
not
to have
happy
that
about
video, dude, of little Mike just
This
wheeling.
kick-ass mag-tired
Not a care in the
mongoose.
world, and
Yeah.
then boom, just be blindsided by an egg. Okay, so your question was, of all the things that were thrown, so you had the eggs, obviously, apples, oranges, potatoes, and grapefruits.
What's your answer?
My answer is potatoes.
Yes.
I mean,
oh,
dude,
the
like-
density of that son of a
Yeah.
bitch. That's not breaking. That's just gonna whap.
Yeah. I was going to say apple would suck. There are some tough apples out there.
I've been hit with
Granny
apples.
Smith. I would not want to be hit with a big Granny
I've
Smith.
been railed by apples. I had an apple tree in the yard that separated. It was right on the edge between my yard and Deuce.
Yeah.
And so we'd have massive apple wars.
Like
And-
crab apples?
Well, they got to be like that big. If
Yeah.
we would have fertilized it and all that shit, we probably could have grown some real big apples. But about that big. And the worst ones were when they were green, dude, when they were just coming about and, just grabbed
Hard as a rock.
And speaking of garbage can lids, we'd each grab one of those and we'd just wail on each
Just
other.
Captain America each other
Yeah.
out back. That sounds fun.
So apples are unpleasant to get hit in the head with, but dude, I got to believe a potato?
Yeah,
Ah.
potato would not. It sounds like
No
someone is-
yam. We're talking russet.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm thinking an Idaho.
Yeah.
A straight Idaho potato.
It's not like a red skin or something. We're talking
Yeah,
density.
hearty, pre-skinned potato. So yeah, so his daughter was hit squarely in the tits by an egg. I was narrowly missed by a flying potato. A responding officer was hit in the foot by an egg. Clemens said he and his family were virtually held hostage inside their home, unable to use the front entrance during and after dark hours. That the attacks ended up stripping off the paint in the front of their house.
Yeah.
So he has gotten the place repainted.
I want to know what caused
that's
all
some,
that shit.
That's some nerve, man. Hitting a cop that's out there kind of checking out the scene.
Right.
Do you want to try and call him really quick? I know we don't. I mean, it's totally on the fly. But
He must have
Let's try that son of a bitch.
had a good hiding spot, I guess.
Albert.
we called him earlier before the show and got a busy signal. So try and dial him up really quick. Imagine their phone's off the hook for a reason. Anyway, well, we'll hang on to the number. Maybe we'll catch him another time. Poor guy.
Seriously. Hey, Mike, speaking of apples,
Yeah.
I rolled by pretentious Franklin cider
it's
mill
getting ready
today.
to open up.
Oh,
If
I
it's
think
not-
it's open.
If not, it's got to be getting ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I rolled by that place and I rolled by Yates the other day. Yates just looked more fun. I don't know, more down to earth. More
stop
down to
it.
earth.
Well,
More
think
family friendly.
If you think about it, Franklin can open up whenever. They don't have a orchard. They're just selling the shit anyway.
Yeah,
so
they're just trucking it in. Trucking it in. and
Trucking it in
selling
those
Go ahead,
high-end
have your fun.
apples?
Have your fun. Make fun of pretentious Franklin. I'll have you know that the market that you make fun of is closing.
Oh, well, maybe they're a little overpriced.
No, that's not it.
No? What was it? Underpriced?
Yeah, it was such great savings. No, the rumor on the street is
oh boy,
that they have doubled the rent, thinking that, oh, it's Franklin, they'll pay it. And so poor Carl is being.
Carl's just trying to sell bushels of apples.
That's right. Carl's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works up there and or owns that place, I guess. Pays the rent on it, and yeah, he's being booted because he can't afford to pay double rent.
Sure, someone will move into that pretentious building and
It'll probably be a yoga studio or something
law
dumb.
firm or some dumb
Ugh.
thing.
Don't need another yoga studio or law firm.
I agree.
gotta put those lawyers somewhere.
Did you see the ducks out there swimming around when you drove
not.
by?
No.
Is it open for real?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, they've got all their tentery and all that shit set up. and
Okay.
Looking very snooty and
All their
pretentious.
cheeses?
Lots of cheeses and jams and spreads.
What do those have to do with an apple orchard?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I've never seen
It's-
cheese
it's
in an apple orchard.
$19 cider or whatever.
It wasn't $19.
It was
The
19.
donuts are delicious. The caramel apples are to die for. I'll get some for us.
They're $28, but whatever.
You don't know that. You've never bought them. Speaking of yoga, remember that yoga instructor that was accused of flashing her titties at a bar mitzvah
I do remember that.
like a year ago?
Hell
Yeah.
Yeah. She's now
Didn't she
and then
bang one of them?
she
too?
blew one of them. No, she
Yeah.
didn't bang him. She blew one of the 15-year-olds. I think she flashed her titties to a group of boys between 11 and 15.
If I'm not mistaken, the bar mitzvah does signal the transfer over to manhood. So
Which is what
doing-
we went with at the time.
doing
like-
her part, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Lindsay Radomski is her name. She's 34. She's now claiming that she was drugged and even raped by them. I don't know that I
Why
believe
not?
her. She was arrested last year after she allowed them to fondle and lick her new titties. So apparently she got some new titties. She allowed them
These
to
little
take a spin.
15-year-old kids,
Yeah, lick it.
yarmulke wearers, just licking titties.
Dude, that's a great story for your bar mitzvah. I mean, that's badass. You got to admit. I understand that parents probably would be like, no, I don't want my 15, 14-year-old licking titties at a bar mitzvah. But if you're the 14 or 15-year-old, kind of tits. That's cool. So, yeah, after the boys left the room, that's when she blew the 15-year-old. On Tuesday, her lawyer claimed that his client had been intentionally drugged with GHB by an 18-year-old at the party. He insisted his client is also a victim and that she had been raped by the minors. While most of the guests were asleep or had gone home, she allegedly invited 7 boys into a bedroom, and that's when she...
Sleeper gone home. Don't bar mitzvahs is just kind of in the afternoon, a few hours, or
That's my experience.
I
You
mean-
go to temple, you wear the yarmulke,
Yep.
you leave
Right.
temple, and then you go to a big, really, really expensive party.
Yeah, that's what I remember, too.
I don't remember like a sleepover situation. I don't know.
Maybe it was at a hotel or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Does everybody wear the hat?
All
Yes.
males have to wear the yarmulke in the temple, I think.
So if you go in there...
Yeah,
They'll have little, won't they
sport
have
it,
little
yes.
to-go ones or something? Or
exactly.
I think I
loners.
stole-
They have
There you
loners.
go.
I think I stole a handful of those once.
Yeah,
Me and a buddy, for some reason, there was a...
thought they were those cool fabric frisbees.
Yeah, but there was a bowl of them at the front of the Jewish Community Center or something at the edge of our sub, and I think we took a couple of them. I don't know why. I mean,
They're kind of in for a while.
yeah, I don't think we sported them around town.
It's
but
pretty normcore now if you want to wear one. But
really. So yeah, she says she let these kids fondle her new fake tits. The victim's parents, learned about the encounter because the boys were just like jacking off to the story and how cool it was, and then went to police. She just told authorities she'd been too drunk to remember the incident, but did admit to flashing party guests. If convicted, she could face more than 6 months in jail. The trial is expected to end next week. So,
That's really astounding.
yeah, I'm thinking that she was not GHB'd, although the lawyer is saying something like he's got a hair sample or something that tests and proves
wow.
that she had some GHB in her system. Yeah.
who knows?
Should we do some email?
We do have some email, Mike.
What do we got?
We also have some wave talks I'd like to mention.
Okay.
Before we get to that, folks, you want a classy, comfortable, stylish, safe, and fun-to-drive SUV with room for the whole family? Of course you do. So get your ass to Zott Ford and Holly, where you can lease the all-new 2016 Ford Edge for just $252 on a 24-month lease. If you haven't driven the new Ford Edge, you are doing yourself an injustice. Go visit Zott Ford and take advantage of the $252 a month Ford Edge before this hot deal cools down. Check out the stupefied deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com. Moreover, and furthermore, you all know Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial by now. He's offering our listeners a great special if you're one of the next 10 listeners to make an appointment for a no-cost, no-obligation portfolio review. He'll give you a $50 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. That means at no cost, Merck will meet with you, review your financial investment situation, whatever that may be, give you recommendations. If you've been thinking about calling Mark, now's the time to do it. Call 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Oh, thank you also to Dan. We don't do this enough, thank people for donations, but Dan had a really very generous donation today, so thank you, sir. We really appreciate that.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you, Dan.
And let me hit wave
Big ups,
here.
Dan. Hell yeah.
I'll tell you.
The Wonka discussion, was it last week, week before, whatever it was?
Yeah,
Where
something
you
like that.
declared Wonka iconic. It was in the wake
I
of
feel
the
like
death.
it's an iconic movie. Sorry.
It's the death of Gene Wilder, and so we got on the subject of Wonka, and it went. We had a personal Twitter or a personal text thing going with Sarah.
Yep. I remember it.
She was obviously on your side. Oh, Wonka this, Wonka
which
that.
should strengthen my argument because Ms. Titties is much younger than us, and so for her to be a fan of Wonka too,
But she realized that she's probably blinded and will someday come around to my side of the story.
Christ.
Everyone I've talked to, by the way, off the record, has been like, dude, Wonka's totally iconic.
There's Twitter going on. People were tweeting about it. We had 2 different wave talk strings going. And this is one that's started by Meeser.
So there's a Twitter topic trending that asks if we consider Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, whether this movie is iconic. And I guess what we need to ask is we need to figure out what is the basis for what makes a movie iconic. It could be writing or cinematic brilliance or whatever. But other than The Wizard of Oz or The Sound of Music, this movie has been around since we've been
1971.
born. You were born in the 70s. You're going to find this movie on any holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You can always come across it.
Gross.
Not other, many other movies can you say that about. And so for that, I would say this movie, yes, is iconic. I agree with Mike. Sorry, Jay.
Thank you, Meeser.
Kind of a hot voice.
Not bad, huh?
You
Go for it, E.
You picking up on the voice?
Meeser, if you're single, give our boy E a holler. So you have no comment on that, Jay? You don't agree with Meeser?
I disagree with that.
What do you think of A Christmas Story?
A Christmas Story, you're not going to like me for this.
You don't think A Christmas Story is iconic. That's
what?
Bullshit.
I don't like the movie. I think it's very boring.
Oh my!
I think it's boring.
God.
You are a Scrooge,
No,
sir.
watch that movie. Sit down and
I
watch the whole
have
damn
watched
movie.
a million times.
I have.
It's boring.
Oh my lord!
There's definitely some classic parts, and everybody should see it.
I
agree
think
with
Derek
that.
still has the leg lamp.
Yeah, we have a little leg lamp thing that plugs in, just like a nightlight leg lamp. But fragile, right?
Fragile.
JPC the fourth chimes in.
Minnow. Walters will have you believe that.
Wrong one. Sorry. We'll fix that in post.
Sure.
Fix
It
all this
happens.
in post. JPC the fourth chimes in.
I'm going to have to agree with the king here and say that neither Gene Wilder's or Jonathan Depp's Chocolate Factory or whatever they're calling either of them are iconic, and neither hold up the test of time. The same way like A Christmas Story would.
Oh, there you go.
Or Dark Knight. Charlie had some capes and superpowers, and I could see an argument being made, but he doesn't.
Or Dark Knight. Dutch chimes in.
How'd that get thrown in there?
I say definitely not iconic. I mean, Meeser, have you seen this movie recently as an adult? Because I saw it when I was a kid, when it was originally released. And yeah, I liked it then, but I've seen bits and pieces of it since, and it definitely does not hold up. The Oompa Loompas are cool, were cool, will continue to be cool. You can't take away anything from the Fidgets. They did a fantastic job in that movie. But the movie itself, it's okay, but it's definitely not iconic. I mean, if I think of iconic movies, I think JPC mentioned A Christmas Story. I saw that in the movie theater when it was originally released, and was absolutely blown away by it, and continue to watch it every year now when they run the marathon. But Willie, yeah,
It's funny that both people
was absolutely blown away by it.
Both people that have stood up for Jay have also
Liked
said
The
that
Christmas
it's
Story.
Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Dude, that scene when the dogs come in and steal
Oh
the
my
turkey off the table and run out of the house and rip Dad's turkey to shit, and they have to go to that fucking Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And
Fa-ra-ra-ra-ra.
it's very good. And the fa-ra-ra-ra-ra, and the family's losing their shit.
Yeah.
Laughing. Oh,
There's so many.
it's classic.
So many boring parts of that movie. There are. I want you to
Little
next time
Ralphie.
you
I
watch
watch
it, be
it
like,
every
am I
single year.
totally entertained right now?
Yeah, I watch it every single
Right.
year.
Well,
on
you're
Christmas.
E, dude. You kind of don't count. You're on the outskirts.
I kind of agree with E. I can still have that movie. I don't know if it's just because it gives you the holiday feeling, the family feeling. Maybe that's it because it only comes on, the
Christmas
week leading up to
Vacation
Christmas.
is the only Christmas movie we'll watch, dude. Everything else I just lose interest in.
Really?
I'll
What about
start it,
what about
and
the
then-
Grinch?
Yeah, the Grinch is quick enough. Might watch that one if Sweet Pie wants to watch it. But Minnow adds
Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, like any of those, the Pumpkin Patch,
Chuck
Linus.
Brown. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go on record. Chuck Brown is way overrated.
Okay, I want to bash you for that, but dude, I got to agree with
Right?
you here.
You'd always get so excited
yes.
about Chuck Brown, and then there just wasn't the action that you wanted. There's too much, Linus kind of psychoanalysis going on.
Yeah.
There's too much of that. Snoopy's not that funny. I mean, Snoopy was the one guy, like, okay, and then he'd go out and do his little Stop with Camel thing with the Red Baron, and
Yeah.
it's just not that funny.
I thought there was potential for the Dyke couple. Who was the lesbian couple?
Yeah, Peppermint Patty.
Peppermint Patty and Sir.
Marcy.
Was it Marcy?
Yeah, Marcy and,
yeah.
and Pep.
The lesbian couple was fun. The teacher gag had been played out.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Dude, I got to agree with you, though.
Yeah, but you'd get excited because it signaled the holiday.
Yeah.
So you're like, yes, and then again, it also harkens back to these assemblies you'd have at school or the downtime you'd have at school. So it was always a good feeling.
Yep.
Like you connect that with a good feeling, but they're not that good, man.
Yeah, but why are they still played every single year? I guess
they're iconic.
Yeah, there you go.
Minnow adds in text, because this Minnow person never waves verbally. Well, it is nice to know we have so many of the King's Sharpie suckers in the listening faithful. I, however, will not yield to the small but vocal sect of listeners. Willy Wonka, top 10 best movies of all time, period. Mike is spot on this.
I don't know that.
Wow.
I did not declare
Wow,
it top 10 of
that.
all time. I did not declare that.
No,
I appreciate the support,
is. I
Minnow.
mean,
There's no way it's top 10.
it's not even. It's barely top 10 of all time fidget movies. I listed them out. Yeah, there's 9 better fidget movies.
Like what? You mean obviously Empire?
You go. I don't have the list in front of me, but Empire, New Hope, Return of the Jedi. I throw Willow in there. I throw Wizard of Oz for sure.
Wizard of Oz belongs.
Austin Powers with Mini-Me's, 2 of them. I mean, there's a plethora fidget movies that get bumped in
Yeah.
front of that. Schlitsky adds on Wave, offended much? Question mark.
Who are these fans that are complaining about stories on the Detroit Cast? You listen to the Detroit Cast, right? This is what it's all about. I'm offended by your offense.
Well,
yeah, I know. It surprises me too. The way that works though is that people are cool with laughing at things that don't affect them.
Right, and
then one thing hits home, and it's hard not to react to that. So you expect it.
Brandon writes in, and this is about his buddy David or Taco. Follow up on that. Remember yesterday we were kind of like, is this real? Dude, it's real.
I know it is. I saw there was
the book?
It was on the book. It was going around on the book, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And I actually wrote. I was like, "Is this real for real?" Because we mentioned this on the show, and Taco, and
we'll mention it again. It's
sure,
David, known as Taco, 5'7", 130. Last seen at 14 in Campbell Hilton and Clawson. So call Clawson Police Department or your local police if you see him or come
I
in
used
contact.
to live right there, Campbell Hilton exit.
248-435-5000 for Clawson Police.
Say the number again, Jay.
248-435-5000.
Well,
looking for David Taco.
Taco was in our thoughts for sure, and we understand he's a big listener, and his friends and family are. So, yeah, that's terrible news. I hope he's just needed some space or something, and
maybe it'll be like that Mexican dude that just shows up months later and he was just on a bender.
There you go. That's a best case scenario.
that wouldn't be a bad case scenario. But I hope obviously he's okay.
Yeah. Bill writes in, King, identifying thin guy and the tard. I too was at the extremely overpriced water park in Sandusky on Sunday and had noticed a large amount of hefty bag swimsuits making a comeback. You spoke of the amount of bars in the park, but did you happen to visit the 21 and over grotto with a swim-up bar? I did not. I know that there was one.
They do have that?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The food in the restaurants was insanely expensive as well. I was in a group of 8, and to eat the buffet for breakfast, or as it breakfast, it cost us $137 before tip.
It's breakfast, actually.
I started sounding like an old man by constantly complaining, saying they needed to increase the AC and decrease the prices. Most important thing is that the kids had a great time, and that's all that matters. You guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Bill. Yes, it was some expensive food, too. But
was it good food?
It wasn't awful. Gab and I had a dinner sitting at one of the bars, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Forget what I had, like fish tacos or something.
What were they? They were expensive though.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the whole supply and demand. You're stuck. You're captive, and
sure,
you got to pay it.
I know. Ian and I went to the movie last week. We saw Sausage Party.
God.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Very good. By the way.
Was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was funny. But those prices will never. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Dude,
I got a chicken strips.
Yeah.
And a frozen Coke. And she's like, "Oh, it's $14." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so she rings me up or whatever, and and then I'm like, "Yeah, can I have the frozen Coke?" She's like, "Oh, you ordered a frozen Coke too?"
No way. $14 chicken strips?
Chicken strips.
Like microwave chicken strips at a movie?
At a movie.
Gross.
I know, they were gross. But yeah.
Did they charge you for like the ranch dipping sauce that you no doubt got?
No, they didn't. They
It is-
included that.
It was 14 for my popcorn and pop. The problem is with the movie theaters is that they don't make money off of movies pretty much, and so if anything, sometimes they'll lose money off of these big shows that the big blockbusters they have. So that's how they have to make their money. The tickets don't mean shit.
With people being able to replicate the theater experience at home now,
I know.
Taking a huge hit. So
I know.
Trying to get it back where they can. Scott writes in, actually several people have written in about the fruit fly infestation we're experiencing.
Yeah.
We're not alone, Mike. We're
Really?
not alone. We're not the only skanks out there.
I swear to God, I wasn't even going to say anything because I thought it was just me and like the Skankville I live in.
I'm obsessed, I think.
Are you?
I checked my traps this morning. Okay, people have been writing in with traps.
Wait a minute. I thought I saw you tweeted yesterday.
Yeah.
That you made a trap.
Well, and that was per Alex. Thank you to Alex who suggested the funnel. You make a funnel with just like a 1/4-inch opening, and then you put it like in a Gatorade bottle, and then you tape around the funnel. Prior to doing that, of course, you put the bait in, which needs to be fruit or something sweet to attract them.
Mhm.
And apparently these dumb sons of bitches are smart enough to go down in there, but then they can't get out because the funnel opening is like, it confuses them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I threw
How
some
big
out.
of an opening did you say?
Like a 1/4-inch.
Okay.
So I did that, and yeah, so then Alex points out, and then when they're in there, just fold the funnel into the bottle and cap it, sealing those annoying teleporting flies in a sweet, fruity tomb. So I planned to do when I get home. I had 3 of them in one.
Really?
I tested. I had sour apple pucker,
Nice.
liqueur in one, and then I had apple cider vinegar.
In
apple
another?
cider vinegar. Yeah. in
Why don't
another.
you just put an actual piece of fruit in one of them?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
But it's pungent, it's
Yeah.
coming out of there, and they're like, oh. And I actually discovered the other day. I'm out of beer, right? So I'm scrounging through the fridge. Usually I grab a few before I leave here on Thursdays. I didn't do that, and so I'm scrounging around my own fridge looking, and I find like these girly beers that Gab every now and then will buy, like a fruity beer, like a raspberry beer, in case she wants to sit down and drink beer with me.
Yeah, she wants an apple cider or something.
Yeah, so she's got 19 of these beers in there because she drank 1 or 3 or 4 or whatever adds up to 2 cases. I guess that'd be 4.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
5 if she had 19 left.
Yeah.
So I grab one of the 19 and I open it up. I'm drinking. I threw it in a glass, and I had just a little bit at the bottom, just like my water cup here. And I noticed these sons of bitches coming, man. It's like
They
flies
wanted
on
it.
shit.
Yeah.
They wanted it, and so no doubt about it. It's something about the alcohol, the fermentation, or something.
Well, that's
the
what happens
fruitiness.
at bars. Like if you ever worked at a bar or a restaurant,
Yeah, you see the fruit flies.
fruit
going
flies in the bottles. Yeah, they'll worm their way in through the what is that spigot they have on there?
You could do that if you
That
go.
pour.
Oh, sorry.
You know, the pour.
yeah.
that-
Oh, really? They'll go in through there?
Yeah, I think so.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You could do that if you go camping too. If you go camping to keep like the fly or whatever mosquitoes away from your shit, you put like a cup of Mountain Dew, just like away from all the other shit. They'll all fucking go towards like the Mountain Dew and stay away from you.
Well, Scott suggests a different kind of trap. I have a solution to the House of Skank fruit fly problem. We had the same problem last year because we started eating healthier, which usually means lots more fruit in the basket. Needless to say, those goddamn little teleporters were driving me insane too. Get a small bowl, fill it with an inch or so of apple cider vinegar. That's what I used. Tightly cover it with plastic wrap and poke a few fruit fly-sized holes in the plastic. Sit back, and in a couple days, you'll see your problem solved. So that's another way of doing it, just saran wrapping and then poking holes. But I didn't think that was, as I tried it, didn't seem as fruitful as the funnel.
No pun intended. So why are they in my shower?
God, I don't know, Mike.
I mean, I don't think there's anything fruity in there, and they're teleporting in there too.
Yeah.
Oh
Go
yeah.
Smack them and
they're gone. I mean, I'll line them up. I mean, it's dead. There's nowhere to go.
You ever cleaned your shower?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. Yep.
Lately and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I have, and I mean, it smells more like Clorox in there than fruit, but they're in there.
Gross. Jay chimes in, cut off Eric's finger. Use a saw blade. Perfect solution. A paper cutting thing would require modification. Sometimes I can only cut 5 or 6 sheets of paper at a time. Use a saw blade. So that guillotine style crank just push down wouldn't work on a finger?
Yeah.
I would think just the pressure you're applying to it, you'd have to kind of jump.
You'd have to,
you know?
pound
I'd have to
it down.
jump up and push it.
Yeah, get on it.
But I think it'd go through.
It'd definitely break it, but as far as like severing it completely, we could try. You have 2 pinkies, right? We could do a test run with a machete.
I didn't say I was going to do the pinky. I said I was going to do this finger.
Well, you have 2 of those fingers too, so we could do a test run.
Bob writes in, bicyclists responding, mediary, sedentary, tertiary. All right, Jay, I get it as a bicyclist, of course, with a lisp. Who wears faggoty, quote from Chaz, shorts and shirts. I can take the verbal abuse and will continue to take it. I admit the look is somewhat fanciful. However, be advised that whenever I hear such verbiage in the future, I will respond into my phone that this comes from a lawyer who's a self-confessed expert on women's soccer. In episode 656, you declare that some broad is the 3rd best women's soccer player in the country, thereby implying that you know who is the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and probably 6th best. I rest my case. Good day. I said good day, Bob.
He does have a point there.
I like the women's game. I've got no problem with the women's game.
Women's game
because it's a close facsimile. I don't mind women's sports that are close facsimiles. If you're talking like WNBA, no, it's a different sport, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
But women on the pitch, absolutely.
I don't know that it's that close. I mean, you obviously know better than I do, but I don't think of it.
They're really good.
I know they're good for girls. For girls. Like tennis, I can get into women's tennis.
Yeah, it's actually more realistic.
Better. It's better.
Guys are just whack.
Yeah, they hit too hard. Their power game is so overwhelming that you can't get a good rally going.
No.
Women's ping pong. Women's volleyball.
Right.
Very good. I'll have to give women's soccer another go. I don't know.
I was going to go back to the bikeless thing real fast. You know what? Besides the quote-unquote faggoty wear that they wear.
Bikeless,
it's annoying. When you go to these metro parks like Kensington and stuff, dude, there is 8 miles of trail. And then actually at Kensington, you can connect to a few other places. You can do almost 14, 15, 18 miles worth of trail. And yet they'll still ride on the fucking regular road. You know, like on the road through Kensington. It's like...
Well, they don't want to dick with guys like you running in the middle of the trail.
It's bullshit to me. I see them and I'm just like, get on the fucking path.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I do. I'm so sick of them being in the road. So sick of bike guys in the road.
You'd rather have them hauling ass on that thin
Yes.
path with like joggers and walkers and some old lady just kind of wandering to the left and all of a
I
sudden
guess they
you're in
probably wouldn't. Now that I'm hearing it out loud. But,
Yeah.
But it bugs me when I'm driving on the road. That's all I care about.
I get you. Well, we'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right. Well, let's call it a day there as we look forward to the weekend. And we got one more show this week to go, and we'll do that tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.